Hello, good morning, friends, and welcome to this live stream. And the program name is This Day, That Year, and today is weekend, bright Friday morning. So, to my American friends, very happy Thanksgiving, and enjoy your Black Friday, etc. And today I would like to basically talk about one of the major historic event which happened very recently in the desert area of the world, which is in the Middle East, and it is related to the torrential rain. And you would think, what rain got to do with desert? Because the very first point is that it is called desert because it never rains. So what is going on with our climate, and what is this specific information? Let's start our journey understanding this particular historic event, and this is related to Saudi Arabia. So way back on November 25th, which is today, in the year 2009, the 3 years of total rain that falls in the coastal city of Jeddah fell in just 3 hours. So, you can imagine these are dry areas, and people who have traveled to Middle Eastern countries, they would know that there is no provision. I mean, because it never rains and there is no water clogging, etc. So, unlike in our country, because in India there is always rains and heavy rains, torrential rain. So there is a underwater drainage system which is implemented in most of the countries. Wherever there are rains, humans have realized that the rainwater will actually accumulate, and the best way to get rid of the excess rainwater is to basically make a drainage system so that the water can drain out from your cities, etc. So all cities, I mean, if you go to Kuala Lumpur, there are huge drainage systems which are meant for taking the rainwater out from the city, so that you don't have this situation that you see in this city. Whereas in the Middle Eastern countries, since it never rains, and it is all the cities, major cities like Jeddah, Riyadh, Dubai, Abu Dhabi, they are all in desert area. It hardly rains. So if you travel to one of these cities, you will not see these drain systems. You will not see any of these drainage systems that you are accustomed to in any of these Middle Eastern countries. And so when this rainfall happened, they were totally unprepared, and the 3 years of total rainfall happened in just matter of 3 hours. And this was a major catastrophe because the city planners, municipal corporation of Jeddah, they were not even prepared. I mean, there was no mechanism to even predict that such torrential rain will happen in the desert city of Jeddah. And therefore, in this catastrophe, a lot of people lost their life. They got washed away. The flash floods were created, and thousands of vehicles were also washed away, and they got accumulated in some crazy areas in the city of Jeddah. So Jeddah is a very populous city, and there are a lot of tourist activity going on, because I think if you want to go to your pilgrimage, especially if you are a Muslim pilgrim, then you have to pass through Jeddah. So Jeddah is a port, so you actually take a ship to go to your Hajj, and then because of the proximity or the location of Jeddah port, there are a lot of activities. People are going up and down, and throughout the year. So when this incident happened, people were totally unprepared, because they never expected that you would get rain in the desert. But this happened. But this is not the only time that human remember such a catastrophe happened. Few years back, before this incident, almost like 18 months back, similar rains happened in Mumbai. In matter of hours, huge deluge of water was poured down on the city of Mumbai. Well, Mumbai is a coastal town in India. It's one of the major town in India. It's business capital of India. Mumbai, one city, contributes to about 60% economy of India. There is a lot of activity going on in Mumbai. And since it's coastal, it is affected by monsoons. There are adequate drainage systems to take care of the rains. So unlike Jeddah, the Mumbai city had the drainage systems which takes care of water drain out of the city. But this one, nobody could have predicted. The years or years of rain falling within a matter of hours. No drain system could be programmed or could be planned in such a way that so much water will fall in matter of an hour. And in addition to that, there are tides. And when the tide happens, as you know, the tide happens twice a day. When the tide came, it actually, the drain system worked in the reverse direction. So one side there's a lot of rain falling on your city, and other side the tide water from the ocean is actually coming and adding to that water, which is extra water, which is falling on your city. So that added to a lot of chaos in the city. As you can see in this picture, thousands of cars were submerged, washed away. 300 to 500 people lost their life. They got sucked by the water which was falling, and the drain system was obviously working, so it was sucking the water out, but not at the rate at which the water was falling, and a lot of people got sucked into the drain system itself. So similar thing happened in Jeddah. So what is so remarkable in these floods that we have been seeing lately, and the rains are increasing as the global warming is becoming a major issue. The rain on the planet Earth across all cities, I mean, last year, few months back, we have seen the entire Europe was flooded because of the extra rain. And advanced countries like Germany, France, etc., they have all the systems and all the money to prepare, but they were helpless because Mother Nature is beyond any preparation. All rivers in Europe were flooded, and they created havoc. A lot of people lost their life in Europe, and this is actually going on for some time. But is this the first time that we are seeing? I think that is what the topic of discussion today. I think it is not the first time, because our history is riddled with huge, humongous floods across the history of human race, and we can never prepare for sudden flood which is going to come our way. So if we, for example, if I'm making this video right now, I'm live with you on a live stream on social media, but you never know that there will be flood in this area. So that is how the nature works, and therefore the flooding, the fear of flood, is sort of hard coded in our mind. It is part of our memory system, because our ancestors have seen these huge floods in the past, and because of that humans try to prepare, but they cannot be prepared enough. In fact, there are traces of huge floods in Sahara Desert, where the thousands of years back, when the entire lake system of Sahara, there used to be a huge lake in the middle of Sahara, many times bigger than Lake Victoria. And people who understand the geography of Africa, Lake Victoria, which is the reason behind Nile is flowing the longest river of the world, is a huge lake system, as big as the Great Lakes of America. And there was a bigger lake in the middle of Sahara Desert, which got drained completely, bone dry, into the Mediterranean and Atlantic Ocean. And that created memory of huge flood happening across the northern African plains. And you can imagine, if there was a lake, I'm sure there may be many settlements and towns and cities and villages across the lake, because lake could support a lot of flora and fauna and human and animal population. So when this happened, the entire water of this huge lake, which was like many times bigger than Lake Victoria, washed many areas of North Africa into the ocean. So it was great flood. Similarly, there was a great flood in the Black Sea area, and that flood is the reason we have the Noah's Ark story. And now we have the Caspian Sea, which is the largest freshwater lake today. But this was all created by huge floods for whatever reason in the antiquity. So there are history of great floods across the human civilization. When it comes to India, India is no different. In fact, there is a mythological story about Manu, the only human surviving on the surface of the earth because of the great flood which happened in this Indian region. And this there is evidence now that there was a asteroid that had fallen in the Kashmir area, and there was a huge lake which was surrounded by all the large mountains. And when this asteroid fell, unfortunately it fell on one of the mountains, and because of that the bank of this huge lake, which was many times the, or probably half the size of Caspian Sea, of today's Caspian Sea, very deep lake, completely got drained in the North Indian plain. And almost nothing survived, and only one person survived. His name was Manu, along with his wives, and he reached Mount Everest in order to survive. So that is a story in our it's a mythical, we don't find any evidence of existence of Manu, but that is why it's called mythical story. So even in India, there is a history of great flood happening in the North India, where the entire Kashmir Valley, as we see today, got completely drained out, exposing the land that we see in the valley where people live today. Where people live today in Kashmir area was all submerged thousands of years back. So I think the fear of flood is real, and it proves that lately our cities are getting exposed to these great floods which are coming from the heavens, from the sky, and the water is just without any warning pouring down on our head, creating a flood situation. And there is a lot of preparation being done, but we can never be prepared for always, so that is something that I wanted to talk about today. And I see a couple of messages. So Sony is there live with us, and she's saying hello Sony. I'm almost about to end this stream. If you have any question on the subject, feel free to shoot the question or any statement. Thanks for joining, Sony, this morning. All right, friends, so I've come to the end of this live stream. And you can join me live every day, Monday to Friday at 10:30, where I talk about the important historic incident which has helped shape human civilization, and it also gives us learning of what we can do to prepare ourselves for future. So as always, thanks for watching. I will catch you again on Monday. Until then, have a nice weekend, and my American friends, enjoy Thanksgiving weekend. I will catch you again on Monday. Bye bye.